A small spoonful of honey today can feel almost ordinary. It is added to tea, spread on bread, or used as a natural sweetener without much thought. But this golden substance connects us to a much older story, one that began long before supermarkets, farming, and written history. At some point in the distant past, humans discovered honey. They found a rare source of sweetness hidden in the natural world. But when did that happen? Was there a first person who tasted honey? A first group that searched for it? A moment when humans began turning this natural resource into part of their lives? The truth is, history cannot give us a single answer. The earliest interactions between humans and honey happened thousands of years before written records, and many traces of everyday foods disappeared long ago. So instead of searching for one exact moment, researchers ask a broader question. How did humans develop a relationship with honey? And what can this reveal about the way people have always interacted with the natural world? To understand that story, we first need to look at honey itself. Long before humans collected it, honey already existed as part of nature. Bees developed a relationship with flowering plants by collecting nectar and transforming it into a stored food source. This process created a resource that was rich in energy and relatively rare compared with many other foods available in the environment. Humans entered a world where these natural resources already existed. But honey was not something that could simply be found anywhere at any time. It depended on local environments, flowering plants, and the presence of bee colonies. For people living thousands of years ago, survival often depended on understanding their surroundings. Hunter-gatherer societies developed knowledge about animals, plants, seasons, and landscapes. They relied on what their environments could provide. However, knowing that honey existed is different from proving exactly when humans first consumed it. This is one of the challenges of studying ancient diets. Many foods that humans used in the past leave little physical evidence. Fruits decay, liquids disappear, and organic materials often break down over long periods of time. Because of this, researchers usually cannot identify the first time a particular food was eaten. Instead, they build a picture from many different clues. Archaeologists study tools, environmental remains, animal bones, plant evidence, and other traces preserved at archaeological sites. These clues do not always reveal specific meals or individual choices, but they can show what resources were available and how humans interacted with their surroundings. For example, the environment around an archaeological site can provide information about the plants and animals that existed in the region. Tools can sometimes reveal how humans processed or collected resources. Chemical and microscopic evidence can also provide additional information when preservation conditions allow it. Together, these forms of evidence help researchers understand ancient food systems. But when it comes to honey, the evidence becomes especially difficult to trace. The absence of direct evidence does not mean humans ignored honey. It means that something is temporary. As a natural sweetener rarely survives the passage of thousands of years. The earliest honey gathering may have happened long before any clear archaeological evidence appeared. This is why researchers often focus not on finding the first moment, but on understanding the relationship between humans and valuable natural resources. Honey would have been an unusual resource because it offered concentrated energy and sweetness in environments where foods with similar qualities were limited. But accessing it required knowledge of the landscape. Wild honey came from bee colonies found in natural environments, meaning humans would have needed to recognize where such resources could exist and how to collect them. Research into traditional honey-gathering communities around the world shows that humans can develop detailed knowledge of bees, seasons, and local environments. These practices do not provide direct proof of what ancient humans did, but they demonstrate the kinds of relationships people can build with natural resources. Importantly, not every human group had the same access to honey. Different environments created different opportunities. Some communities may have lived in regions where honey was available, while others may have had little or no contact with wild bees. Human history is not one single path. It is a collection of many different experiences shaped by geography, climate, and available resources. Over time, the human relationship with honey began to change. For early hunter-gatherers, honey was a natural resource found within the environment. Later societies began developing new ways to influence and manage food production. The rise of agriculture transformed human relationships with nature. In different parts of the world, some communities began cultivating plants, managing animals, and creating more controlled food systems. Eventually, humans also developed beekeeping practices. Here, the evidence becomes much clearer. Ancient civilizations, including ancient Egypt, left historical and archaeological evidence showing organized beekeeping and the importance of honey within their societies. This represents a different stage of the story. It is not direct proof of how prehistoric humans first collected wild honey, but it shows how humans later transformed a natural resource into something connected with technology, economy, and culture. Honey became more than a source of sweetness. In some societies, it was valued as a food, used in traditions and connected with beliefs and practices. Its rarity and natural origin gave it a special place in human history. This raises a larger question. Why do certain foods become important beyond survival? The answer is often found in the relationship between humans and their environments. Food can become connected with memory, identity, trade, and cultural meaning. Honey is one example of this transformation. A substance created through the relationship between bees and flowers became part of human stories, societies, and traditions. But the original question remains. When did ancient humans first start eating honey? The most accurate answer is that we do not know the exact moment. There is no confirmed archaeological discovery showing the first human consumption of honey. The evidence suggests that humans likely interacted with natural resources such as honey long before written history, but the exact beginning remains hidden. And perhaps that uncertainty reveals something important about studying the past. History is not only made from famous events, monuments, and written records. Much of human history is found in ordinary activities, the foods people searched for, the environments they explored, and the resources they learned to use. The story of honey is a reminder that even the simplest parts of daily life have deep roots. A spoonful of honey connects the modern world with countless generations of humans who observed nature, adapted to their surroundings, and built relationships with the world around them. The question of the first honey may remain unanswered, but the search for that answer reveals something lasting. Human history has always been shaped by curiosity, adaptation, and our connection with the natural world.